Thank you very much for introducing me so nicely. It is my pleasure to greet you from Tokyo, where the cherry blossoms are blooming. Looking back the past history of Korea, because of the geopolitical location, Korean people has experienced tremendous difficulties. Their domestic conflict also has been very serious for a long time. Since Korean War gave unimaginable damages to the land and people, the desire for peace and stability is very strong. It looks to me, however, there is no political leader in Korea who has a clear vision for peaceful unification. Regarding the relationship between South and North, as you know well, it is very difficult even to start a dialogue for peace. How can we open the door of North Korea wider? How can we bring them on the discussion table? There is nobody, I think, who has won the trust of North Korean leader at present. Since I have been in charge of the Japan-Korea undersea tunnel construction project proposed by Reverend Dr. Sam Byung-moon in 1981, allow me to speak briefly about this project. This project suddenly became one of the big controversies in the city mayor election in coming April in the second largest city of Busan, South Korea, from where undersea tunnel goes towards Japan. The conservative camp has been appealing that the project will help economic development in both nations. On the other hand, the liberal camp is accusing them, saying that the conservative party is overly pro-Japan. There are still lingering anxiety among the Korean people to have a closer connection with Japan. That is why two countries must create a tunnel of heart first for realizing the physical connection. I hope that the project will make to reverse the mistrust between two countries. The idea of the undersea tunnel is not an impossible dream, but a realistic idea, I think. I heard that it was once believed in Europe to construct a tunnel in the Dover Strait was impossible to build, financially impractical, but resulted in numerous positive changes to both UK and mainland Europe. I think that Korea and Japan must learn a lot from the UK and Europe. As for the South Korean general climate, I'm deeply concerned in the recent South Korean survey, which shows that the hope for unification have been diminishing among young people. This is why the new measure with which Korean people will be inspired has to be taken. UPF Korea hopes to take that role. It is also necessary to think about the enormous cost of the unification. There is no doubt that Korea alone cannot cover the cost of unification. It is also needed to let neighboring countries know that the unified Korea will not be a threat to any nations. It must be understood that the North Korean missiles range covers not only Japan and the USA, but also China and Russia. I think there is a way for these countries to work together. Under these circumstances, the UPF founders have been created various peace movements, not only for the Korean Peninsula, but also for the world peace. What motivated Dr. and Mrs. Moon to keep working for peace? Both of UPF founders were born in what is now North Korea during its 40 years occupation by Japan. They experienced the Second World War and the Korean War. They were both refugees during the Korean War. This is one of the factors that have motivated them to work tirelessly for peace and unification through dialogue. This year, 2021, marks the 30 years anniversary of their dramatic visit to Pyongyang, North Korea, and meeting with Kim Il-sung, who attempted to kill Dr. Moon in the prison camp. The steps for unification by physical force was over and should not happen again. The steps for the unification by competition, I can say, has finished by winning of South Korea, but the way to the unification is still very far away. Now is the time, therefore, to pursue the unification by a third way with new idea. That is a proposal of the headwind sword by Dr. Moon. The headwind sword vision is not the idea to destroy the opponent, but the thought to embrace even enemies, create a new identity and mutual respect. Let me speak a little bit about Asian tradition. Since we have the Confucius tradition in common in both the democratic and non-democratic nations in the East Asia, we may be able to make common base for creating deeper exchanges. To strengthen the cultural ties, even while sanctions are in place, is another good option to open the nation of North Korea. Good example is the Little Angels in May 1998, that the Little Angels, the world famous girl singing and dancing troops established by the UPF founders in the early 1960s, visited Pyongyang to show their performance there. A similar group from the DPRK visited the city of Seoul in return. This was a splendid cultural exchange for both. Dr. Moon once sent his envoys to the North Korean, advising them to give respect to all they met, saying, "You must give your adversary the respect and dignity. You, in your bias, may not think that they deserve. In the long term, it is worth it. You can change your enemies into a partner." The East Asian situation, including the Peninsula, has become an international concern. European countries have also shown their concern to the peace of East Asia. I think time has come for us to proceed one step ahead for the peaceful unification of Korean Peninsula, mobilizing all experiences and wisdom from all over the world. I'm sure that the European experiences will surely work well for the stability of the East Asia and for the peaceful unification of Korean Peninsula. John Lennon, the member of the Beatles, said, "A dream you dream alone is only a dream. A dream you dream together is reality." I'm very happy that I can dream together with you, expressing my gratitude again for inviting me to this webinar and also for your participation to this webinar. I'd like to end my greetings to you. Thank you very much. Thank you.